Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to How to Make This Insert. Now, we're going to make a card. Well, we're going to make this card actually in the next video. And I've made the insert panels for it, and I wanted to show you how I did it because the colour tones work magnificently with the actual florals that we've used for the insert from the birthday collage toppers from Griffin. However, if you look closely, the colours around the edge and the actual design, we've hand stamped it. And it's just a quick method that I thought you'd like to see how I came up with this design. Now I'm going to do it on just a card front, just to show you. And I'm working on just blank copy of paper, so that way I don't get any ink on my mat. So I'm using Anna's border and corner stamps. Everything I do use, I shall always put in a detailed list on my blog. So just check the blog. But because this is more of a how-to, you know, there's not that many things to show you that I'm using on here. So I'm putting my stamp on my acrylic block. And this is the shorter stamp of the two from the set. And then I'm using a Stays On ink for this. And it's the green, what's it called? Cactus green. So I'm going to just tap the ink on. And I'm just going to stamp one impression on my copy of paper to check that I've got lots of ink on it and it's stamping fine. Now, this is a well-loved stamp, so I know that it's going to stamp well for me and perform. So what I'm going to do is to marry everything up, I'm going to start at the edge of the card. Now, I'm not going to measure, I'm just going to go roughly, because this is kind of a very forgiving method. So if you don't quite marry everything up, it doesn't matter. And for people like me that, you know, just throw it together. And it works. So we'll see, shall we? So I'm going to stamp through the centre at the top. Nice clean stamp. And I'm going to turn it round and I'm going to do exactly the same at the bottom. Now, in the border and corner stamps, there's the small edge, there's the long border strip, and there's corners as well. So you get a little bit of everything. So now I'm going to put that one back on my sheet and take the next one. And for anyone wondering, these are I actually laminate cardstock and then add my stamps to them. And then that way I can keep all my stamps in boxes, as it were, and I can flick through them to see what I need. So again, we're just going to add some ink, and then I'm just going to stamp on my copy of paper, make sure it's stamping well, and then add the ink again, and then we can go to the card base. If the stamp isn't stamping very well, or it's a brand new stamp, you might want to just stamp it a couple of times with your ink on copy of paper. Or maybe if it's brand new, just take some sellotape and just gently pat it with the sticky side, because it takes off the silicone residue that they get when they're being made. So give that a go. Because some stamps, you know, you can get them, I've never had it with Anna's stamps, but sometimes you can get a stamp and it doesn't stamp very well until you've used it about 20 times, and then it's great. You know, it stamps really nicely. Okay, so now we've got the long edge and we can stamp again down the centre. As I say, it doesn't matter if you don't get it straight. It doesn't matter if it's not the best stamped image in the world. So don't get strung up about that for this method, because we're going to hide all those boo-boos with this. So next, we're going to stamp again down the centre of the side. There we go. And then we can add the corner stamp. Now, it's only a long drawn out method because I'm chatting away. So now we can stamp the corners once on my sheet and go in to add the corner stamps and just turn it round as you go with the corners and keep going, and third one and the last one. There we go. So now I'm glad that's happened with the corners, because now I can show you how we're going to add the colour and why it doesn't matter if you're not the perfect stamper, because not everything in crafting has to be exact and perfect. And I think a lot of times people do get caught up in the, oh, I don't like it, or it's not straight, or, you know, it doesn't look how it should. So let me just zoom in a little bit, see if I can just, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to take 3 pens, and these are Anna's pens, and I'm going to start with the lightest pen, and I'm going to go with the brush nibs on all of them. Now my pens are really old. I got my pens the first time round when they were out, when Anna was on QVC in the UK. Now I know she's just brought them out again maybe a year or so back. I probably would do this with older pens, but not newer ones, or I would be more careful with the newer ones, should I say. So I'm going to go with a brush edge, and I'm simply going to dot around the design. You see how I've just started adding dots, and I'm randomly adding them. I'm not being specific, I'm not following a pattern, and where I've got a gap, instead of putting 1 dot, I'll maybe put 3. I'm not putting dots close together, but I am just randomly dotting around the design. I'm not, in fact, some of the, I can't even see what I'm doing because of the legs of the tripod that the camera's on. So I'm simply just using that brush edge tip to dot. Now that's the first colour, and then I'm going to go for the second colour, which is, I should say what the colours are, shouldn't I? Can't see it off the top of my head. It's probably staring at me, but no. So we're going to go with, that's a paler olive green, and we're going to go with a darker olive green now. Again, the brush edge, and we're going to dot again, maybe a few more dots. Don't worry if, you know, it's not the neatest and you're thinking, oh, Anne-Marie, what's going on here? It's looking a bit odd. Keep going with it, because you've got the stamp design at the bottom, you've got the colour that you're adding, and trust me, it will all marry up. I've got another trick up my sleeve to make it all marry up. So that's our olive green. Next we're going to use the pink. Again, we're going to use the brush edge, and then we're going to be adding just a few more of the pink. So we're going to just put the pink in gaps that we can see, and just keep adding the colour all the way around. Add as many or as few as you like. If you maybe want to use a different colour, maybe pink's not your bag, but we're doing this because it's going to match for the insert panel for the card that you're going to watch next, as it were, how to make it. So we're making just that edge look prettier and to match those collage toppers. So there we go, and that's all the way around. Now it's looking really colourful, and you're thinking, oh, okay, I can see that colour. Now the one thing to bring it all together is some ink on the edge. And what I've done is I've simply used one of Anna's ink pads, and I tap the edge all the way around. I'm not being careful. I should zoom out again now for this. I'm not being careful, and I'm tilting the ink pad in like so. And then once it's all around the edge, I take the ink pad and I simply just rub the edge of the card up to where the pattern starts. And then I think, oh no, it needs a little bit more. So I do it a little bit more into the pattern, just very lightly, circular movements. If your ink pad is very inky, then you might want to go even lighter. If it's a bit dry like mine, you might need to go a bit heavier. You'll know yourself as you keep going. So just swirl the ink pad to the tip of the design, and you kind of blending the tip of it and just blending it all in and making it all one, so to speak, so the design doesn't look as though you've just stamped it randomly round the edge, and it's just taking that white edge away. There we go, and that's our insert. Now it's a different method to use with your stamps and your inks and your pens, but I think it works perfectly, and so we can see what we did before, like so, and it's just the same, and it just works so well. And that's how I've made the insert for the card. So I hope that helps and just gives you a little bit of just an idea of something different to use with your stamps and your pens. So I'd just like to say thank you for watching. Check out the video of how to make the birthday collage card, because then you'll see it all come together. So thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time.